Jack, I got a message from you last night.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
It was 3:17 in the morning.
I couldn't sleep.
What did the message say?
It said, "Do you think penguins get cold?" And then 3 question marks.
Penguins.
I was curious. They live in the Antarctic, which is obviously freezing, but they're birds. So do they feel cold the way we feel cold, or are they just... Anyway, I couldn't sleep and my brain was going and...
Jack, how long have you not been sleeping properly?
A while.
How long is a while?
Months, maybe more. I fall asleep okay, but then I wake up, usually around 2 or 3, and then my brain just starts, and it doesn't stop.
Hello, everyone. I'm Grace. Welcome back to The Speak Bench, episode 5 of our Life and English series. And today, we talk about the 3 a.m. mind, the one that won't quiet down, the one that sends messages about penguins because it's too full of other things it doesn't know how to say, in English, with honesty. Let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Jack, and the penguin thing was actually a very serious scientific inquiry. But yes, we're also going to talk about why I can't sleep, which is maybe more relevant to you.
Grace, why does it happen at night specifically? Like, during the day, I'm fine, or at least I'm functional, but the moment I lie down in the dark, everything comes. Because during the day, you're distracted. You have tasks, conversations, screens, movement, noise. Your brain has things to focus on. But at night, the distractions disappear, and your brain finally has space.
And it uses that space to panic.
It uses that space to process. The problem is that your brain doesn't always know how to process productively, so it circles, it repeats, it catastrophizes.
Catastrophizes. That's a big word.
We'll get to it, but first, the basic vocabulary of not sleeping. Have you heard the phrase tossing and turning?
Tossing and turning, like moving around in bed.
Exactly. To toss and turn means to move restlessly in bed, unable to find a comfortable position, unable to settle. It implies physical restlessness that comes from mental restlessness. I was tossing and turning all night.
I tossed and turned from 2 a.m. until my alarm went off, which felt like punishment.
Wide awake. To be wide awake means to be completely, totally awake, the opposite of drowsy, often used when you should be asleep, but you're not.
I was wide awake at 3 a.m. thinking about penguins and also every embarrassing thing I've ever said in my entire life.
The embarrassing memories are a classic 3 a.m. feature.
Why does that happen? Why at 3 a.m. does my brain suddenly remember something mortifying I said in 2009?
Because during the day, your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, keeps those memories suppressed. You're busy, you're focused. But at night, without stimulation, the suppression weakens, and up they come, like a playlist of your worst moments.
My brain has excellent taste in torture.
It really does. Jack, what's the difference between not sleeping well and having insomnia? Is insomnia a specific thing? Insomnia is a persistent difficulty with sleep, either falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking too early and unable to go back to sleep. Persistent means it happens regularly, not just occasionally.
That sounds like me, the staying asleep part especially.
In English, there are different ways to describe sleep problems. You might say, I have trouble falling asleep, meaning you lie there awake for a long time before sleeping. Or, I keep waking up, meaning you fall asleep but don't stay that way. Or, I wake up in the early hours, which usually means 2, 3, 4 a.m.
I wake up in the early hours and then I can't get back to sleep, no matter what I try.
Restless is another important word. To be restless means unable to rest or be still, physically or mentally. A restless night is one full of waking, shifting, thinking. You don't feel rested in the morning, even if you slept.
I wake up more tired than when I went to bed sometimes.
That's called unrefreshing sleep, sleep that doesn't restore you. You completed the hours, but your brain didn't complete the cycles it needed.
And insomnia, is that a formal medical word or do people use it normally?
Both. It's a medical term, but people use it in everyday conversation. I've been dealing with insomnia for months, or my insomnia is back, or I'm insomniac, which means someone who regularly experiences insomnia.
I might be insomniac. I've never said that out loud.
Saying it out loud is the first step. The second part of the show is called Overthinking versus Problem Solving. Jack, I've always been a thinker. I think a lot. And people say, oh, you're so thoughtful. You consider everything. But at 3 a.m., the thinking doesn't feel like a strength. It feels like a trap. Because there's a difference between thinking and overthinking. And in English, both words exist and mean very different things.
What's the difference?
Thinking, productive thinking, moves towards something. It considers a problem, generates options, makes a decision, and then stops. It has a direction, a conclusion, an end point.
And overthinking?
Overthinking goes in circles. It considers the same problem from every angle, over and over, without ever reaching a conclusion or taking action. It's exhausting. It creates the feeling of working on a problem without actually solving anything.
That's exactly it. I think about the same things, the same worries, the same what-ifs, and at the end I'm more anxious than when I started, and nothing is resolved.
What ifs? In English, what if questions are the engine of overthinking. What if I made the wrong decision? What if people don't like me? What if things go badly? What if I'm not good enough?
My brain runs on what-ifs at 3 a.m.
And the problem with what if questions is they have no answer. You can't answer what if because it hasn't happened. So your brain keeps asking and asking and asking without resolution. That loop, that circular, unanswerable questioning is called ruminating.
Ruminating.
To ruminate means to think deeply about something for a long time, especially negative or worrying thoughts. The word actually comes from the way cows chew. They chew their food, swallow it, bring it back up, and chew again. Ruminating is mental chewing, the same thought over and over, digested and redigested.
That's disgusting and also exactly right.
I know, but it sticks in your mind, which is the point. Catastrophizing. You mentioned catastrophizing earlier. What is that exactly? Catastrophizing is a thinking pattern where you automatically assume the worst possible outcome. A catastrophe is a terrible, devastating event. To catastrophize is to take a small concern and mentally escalate it to disaster level.
Like, I make one mistake at work, and by 3 a.m., my brain has turned it into, I'm going to be fired, and then I'll lose my apartment, and then Max and I will be homeless.
Does that actually happen, Jack?
Honestly, more than I'd like to admit. One small thing spirals into, my entire life is falling apart.
That spiral is catastrophizing. In English, we also say making a mountain out of a molehill. A molehill is a tiny bump of earth made by a mole. A mountain is enormous. Making a mountain out of a molehill means treating something tiny as if it's enormous and insurmountable.
I make mountains out of molehills at 3 a.m. Everything seems more serious in the dark.
And it genuinely does. This isn't your imagination. Research shows that at night, without light, without activity, without social connection, threats feel more significant. Your brain is in a more primitive, vigilant mode. It's designed to detect danger. And in the dark, with nothing else to focus on, it finds danger everywhere.
So I'm not weak, my brain is just doing what brains do at night.
You're not weak. You're human, with a brain that evolved in a world where nighttime actually was dangerous. Pause. If you lie awake worrying, if your brain goes to the worst-case scenario at 3 a.m., you're not broken. You're just nighttime human, and you're not alone. We're going to talk about what to do about it. And if today's episode is helping you feel less alone at 3 a.m., please like this video and subscribe to the Speak Bench. We make episodes about real things because real things matter. Jack, last night when you woke up at 3 a.m., before the penguins, what were you actually thinking about? Long pause.
Slowly. The usual things. Work, whether I'm making the right decisions, whether I'll regret things I did or didn't do, whether I'm actually living the life I want or just the life that happened to me.
Whether you're actually living the life you want or just the life that happened to you. In English, there's a phrase for that feeling, sleepwalking through life. To sleepwalk means to walk while you're asleep, moving without awareness or intention. Sleepwalking through life means going through the motions, doing what's expected, what's habitual, without consciously choosing your direction.
I'm scared I'm sleepwalking through mine.
The fact that you're scared of that, the fact that you're awake at 3 a.m. thinking about it, is actually evidence that you're not. Because people who are truly sleepwalking through their lives don't lie awake worrying about it. They're asleep.
So my 3 a.m. anxiety about not living intentionally is a sign that I care about living intentionally.
Your 3 a.m. mind is telling you something real. The problem isn't that it's thinking those thoughts. The problem is that 3 a.m. is the worst possible time to solve them.
Because I can't actually do anything about my life at 3 a.m.
You can't make decisions at 3 a.m. You can't have conversations. You can't take action. All you can do is lie there with your thoughts and let them grow in the dark.
So what do you do instead?
3 things for the racing mind at night.
Go.
Step 1, write it down and let it go. When a thought is keeping you awake, write it down. Not on your phone, on paper. A simple notepad by your bed. And write the thought, and then write, I will deal with this tomorrow. And then close the notepad.
Why does writing it down help?
Because your brain keeps the thought active, partly because it's afraid of forgetting it. The anxiety thought is important. It's trying to remind you of something real. When you write it down, you're telling your brain, I have this. It's recorded. You can release it now. You don't need to keep repeating it to remember it.
So instead of remember to deal with work problem, remember to deal with work problem, I write it down, and my brain trusts the paper.
Your brain trusts the paper, and it quiets.
Step 2?
Step 2, stop trying to solve. This is counterintuitive, but when you wake up at 3 a.m. with a problem, the worst thing you can do is try to solve it, because your brain at 3 a.m. isn't in solution mode, it's in threat detection mode. Any problem you try to solve at 3 a.m. will seem bigger, harder, more hopeless than it actually is. So instead, notice the thought, name it, and say, not now, tomorrow, when I can actually think.
Not now. Tomorrow.
In English, we say sleep on it. To sleep on something means to wait until the morning before making a decision or addressing a problem. The phrase acknowledges that nighttime is not when we think best.
I need to sleep on that. I'll think more clearly in the morning.
And it's true. Almost every problem that feels catastrophic at 3 a.m. feels manageable at 9 a.m. The light changes things. The rest changes things.
Step 3.
Step 3. Give your mind something gentle to do. Don't try to force sleep. Don't lie there in the dark fighting your thoughts. Give your brain a gentle anchor, something quiet to focus on that isn't your worries. In English, we call this unwinding.
Unwinding.
To unwind means to relax and release tension gradually, like unwinding a coil of rope. You don't snap it straight, you let it loosen slowly. Unwinding at night might be slow breathing, a familiar podcast or audiobook at very low volume, gentle stretching, even just counting slowly.
I sometimes listen to nature sounds. Rain, water, Is that weird?
That's not weird. That's your brain finding an anchor, something neutral and rhythmic that gives it something to focus on that isn't anxiety.
Quietly, Max also helps. He sleeps at the end of the bed, and sometimes I just focus on listening to him breathe.
Max's breathing as an anchor. I genuinely find that beautiful.
Quietly, he snores a little. It's very soothing.
Of course he does. Practice vocabulary round.
Practice vocabulary round. Key phrases from today. Real sentences.
Go. Tossing and turning.
I tossed and turned all night. By morning, I had basically rearranged my entire bed.
Approving. Wide awake.
I was wide awake at 3 a.m. and Max was deeply, peacefully asleep, which felt unfair.
Overthinking.
I spend a lot of time overthinking things that haven't happened yet and probably never will.
Ruminating.
I've been ruminating about one conversation I had 2 weeks ago, the same conversation, over and over. It's exhausting.
Catastrophizing.
I caught myself catastrophizing at 3 a.m., turning a small work mistake into total career disaster in about 4 minutes.
Sleep on it.
Next time I wake up with a worry, I'm going to write it down and sleep on it. Deal with it in the morning when I can actually think.
Unwind.
I need to create a proper routine to unwind before bed. Put the phone down, slow down, give my brain a chance to shift gears.
Shift gears.
Shift gears. Change pace or mode. My brain needs to shift gears from day mode to night mode, and I haven't been helping it do that.
Delighted. You added your own phrase and used it perfectly.
Smiling. 5 episodes in. Something is happening.
Warm pause.
Curious. Grace, what do you do when you can't sleep?
Honest. I make tea, chamomile usually, and I sit somewhere that isn't my bedroom because being in bed awake starts to associate the bed with wakefulness, and I want my bedroom to feel like sleep.
Curious. And then?
Honest. I write. Not about my worries exactly, just thoughts, whatever comes, without judgment. And usually, somewhere in the writing, I find the thing that's actually bothering me, the real thing underneath all the surface worries.
Slowly. What do you mean by the real thing?
Teaching. Often, the 3 a.m. worry is a surface thought, a symptom, not the cause. You're awake worrying about a work deadline, but actually what you're worried about is whether you're good enough. You're awake thinking about a conversation that went wrong, but actually you're afraid of not being liked.
Slowly. So the penguin question?
Smiling. What were you actually thinking about before the penguins? Just one word if you can.
Long pause, then quietly. Whether I'm wasting my life. And then my brain couldn't hold that thought. It was too heavy, so it went to penguins instead.
Pause. Very quiet. Softly. The penguins were a distraction from the real thought.
Quietly. Yeah.
Warmly. And what would you say to yourself? To the Jack at 3 a.m. with that heavy thought? Long pause. Slowly. I'd say you're not wasting it. You're figuring it out. That's what this whole series has been. Figuring it out one episode at a time. One honest conversation at a time. Moved. Jack.
Yeah?
Simply, that was the whole episode, right there. Pause.
To listeners, your challenge this week. What do you think about at 3 a.m.? Write it in the comments, in English, just one sentence. We read every single one, and I promise you, you're not alone in whatever it is.
To listeners, and if you couldn't sleep last night, if your mind was racing, I want you to know that mind is not your enemy. It's trying to tell you something. It just needs a little help learning when to speak.
Pause. And if you can't sleep tonight, come back and listen to this episode again. Not to learn, just to have some company. We'll be here.
Signing off, I'm Grace from the Speak Bench. Real conversations, real English, real you.
Final quieter. And I'm Jack, going to try to sleep before midnight tonight. Max is already asleep. taking notes from the dog. Goodbye, everyone.
Last line. Goodbye. And remember, 3 a.m. thoughts are not facts. They're just thoughts. Louder than usual, but just thoughts. Good night, everyone.